So, paano ba yung ano niya? Gmail niya dito? Password.
Laki-laki mo to screen.
Facebook muna ako.
Pag-forward ko dito, no? Mag-ano ulit ako. Ako na. Join now.
So, yung ano pala, hindi pa po nakaka-record niya.
Ano. Ay, oo nga pala. Lagay mo, paano ito record? Yun.
Nakaka-record na po pala. Post ko muna, sir.
Hindi, sige, record mo na. Para hindi na ako makalimutan ko pa eh. Bagay magkikintuhan tayo.
Dito, sir, pala yung Facebook na.
Yun yung Facebook na lang kasi may bubuksan akong letter, no? Hirapan ako, ha? Napadala na ba? Oo, napadala na eh. Yun. Yung nagpapa-update na.
Wala po sa headset kung ano, sir. Ito po din.
Ito, wala.
Opo.
Okay na. Thank you. Okay guys, lumipat po ako ng ibang internet ha. Ibang computer ha. Kasi baka may problema tong internet, computer na isa. Okay? Okay? Guys, can you hear me now? Mr. Karandang, Miss Bellarmino, Miss Dizon, Kumotela, can you hear me loud and clear? Okay, good. Miss Gutierrez, are you there? Miss Luna? Okay. Now, insofar as section 411 is concerned, I have given you a copy of goods declaration. Now, compare what are those contained in the goods declaration that you have now in your hand and section 411. Siguro naman, hindi na tayo magtatalo. Kung ano yung sinasabi ng 411 is nakalagay talaga doon sa goods declaration. Right, Miss Gutierrez? Mr. Karandang, tama po ba? Yung kung ano po yung sinasabi ng 411, yun din po dapat ang nakalagay sa goods declaration. Right, Mr. Karandang? Now, other information, ang sabi po, yung pong other information are those information not mentioned under section 411 po. Klaro? Klaro po? Okay. Now, let us now move on to section 412 po. Okay? Pakibasa nga, Miss Gumateya. Okay. Doon nyo, ha? Okay, ako muna po. No entry of imported goods shall be allowed unless the goods declaration has been lodged or filed with the BOC. In other words, class, no goods declaration, no processing. What does it mean? How can the BOC knows that they are required to process the clearance and release of the shipment if the goods declaration is not lodged with them or with their system? So in other words, class, no entry and clearance of goods or imported goods shall be made by the BOC unless the goods declaration is already registered with the Bureau of Customs system. Right? Ganun po yan. The goods declaration shall, under the penalties of falsification or perjury, contain the following documents. Class, when an importer lodges a goods declaration, hindi po papel ang ipinapadala. It's only an electronic message or electronic paper. Tingnan niyo po maigi, ha? Ito po si importer, magla-lodge. Okay? Nakikita niyo ba to? Importer, then BSAP, then BSAP, transmit what has been lodged by the importer through the BSAP. So, ganyan po ang setup. Now, when a declaration has been lodged by the importer through BASP, that declaration submitted by the BASP are those information submitted by the importer with them. Now, whenever the when the BASP transmit now the information of the importer to the BOC, hindi po mananagot ito ng falsification or perjury. It is the importer po. Ano po ibig sabihin nun? Falsification meaning that the importer is submitting all the attached documents. O yan, hindi po hard copy. Katulad ng ginawa ko sa inyo, binigyan ko kayo ng kopya ng SAD, binigyan ko kayo ng kopya ng invoice, binigyan ko kayo ng packing list. Maliwanag po, Mr. Karandang? Nagkaroon kayo ng kopya, pero hindi ako nagpunta sa inyo, hindi ko kayo binigyan ng hard copy, right? Ganon din po sa BOC. Hindi po sila makakatanggap ng hard copy. What they are going to receive only are electronic copies of these documents. Now, if the document submitted or the information submitted by the importer through BASP then to the BOC are false then or falsified, then the BOC can go after the importer for falsification of documents. Nakita nyo, ha? Walang dokumentong dumaan, electronic messages lang. Right, Mr. Karandang? Pag nag-falsify or when the importer falsifies the document submitted electronically by the importer to the BOC through the BASP. Hindi po mananagot ang BASP. Ang mananagot po sa BOC is the importer. Okay? Another case that may be filed, pwede pong kasuhan ng BOC is importer. If what has been submitted electronically by the importer are false, then they can be, or the BOC can sue and prosecute the importer for falsification po. Perjury naman po, assuming the importer submitted lies, hindi po totoo. And the electronic message submitted contains untrue and lie or untrue statement. Again, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, the BOC can prosecute and file against the importer for submitting lies, false information through electronic message. They can be sued or the importer can be sued for perjury. Kaya po perjury yan, under oath po yan, nanunumpa po kasi si importer nung isinadmit po niya sa BASP, lahat po yan totoo. Kaya po pwede siyang kasuhan either falsification of public documents or perjury po. Naintindihan? Kaya kayo, pagka kayo po ang nag-lodge on behalf of the importer, pwede po ba kayong sumabit? Yes po. Maliwanag po. So, kasi po, ang pwedeng kasuhan po dito for falsification or perjury is either the importer or the customs broker submitting a false or a lie to the BOC. It may be the importer or the customs broker po. Kaya po, very careful po kayo. Now, ulitin ko po, the goods declaration shall, under the penalties of falsification or perjury, contain the following statements po. Pakibasa, yung laman po ng statement po. Ms. Gutierrez, you. Ito po ang pwedeng maging problema for falsification or perjury. Saan magkakaroon ng problema, Mr. Karandang? Sa value po. Kasi po pinag-uusapan dito, a faithful account of the declaration contain what? Okay, a faithful account of what has been paid by the importer buyer to the exporter seller. Kailangan po, magsabi po ba tayo ng totoo? Mr. Karandang, pag hindi ka po nagsabi at itinago mo, pwede kang sumabit either falsification or perjury po. Why the BOC or why Section 412 is very, very strict on the faithful account of the prices paid or payable for the goods. Why? Because that faithful account of the PAPP shall be used by the BOC in determining the dutiable value, then the customs duty. Right, Mr. Karandang? Magsisinungaling ka ba dyan, itataas mo o ibababa mo, Mr. Karandang, kung ikaw ang declarant? Yes, kung magsisinungaling ka, ano purpose mo? Is it to increase or to decrease? Yes, of course, decrease. When the importer or declarant or customs broker lies or sends false statement as to the price of the goods, which is the subject of the goods declaration, normally, pag nagsinungaling ka as an importer, ibababa mo, right? Tama ba, Mr. Karandang? What's your purpose? What's your purpose? Kung ibababa mo. Okay, to pay less because the greater, the bigger the PAPP, the greater the duty, right? The lesser the PAPP, the lesser the duty, right, Mr. Karandang? The lesser the tax, right, Mr. Karandang? Okay, ganon. Nagsabi ka naman ng totoo regarding X worth or FOB value, but you hide and concealed something. Ang freight, dapat 1,000, idineklara mo lang $200. $100,000, dineklara mo lang ng $200. May kasalanan ba importer? Yes po. Either falsification or perjury because the importer intentionally withheld and concealed or omitted the freight or the actual amount of freight, and that is called adjustment po. So dapat magsabi ka rin ng totoo as to how much freight was really paid. Right, Mr. Karandang? Another, the importer only declared $300 as insurance. Ang totoong insurance pala is 800. Again, the importer concealed the 800 and instead claimed that the insurance is only 300. Meron po siyang kasalanan. Nakita ninyo kung gaano kabigat? Are you getting me, Mr. Karandang? So whenever an importer is required to declare the goods information in the goods declaration, then the importer must be honest, must be truthful as to the following: X work price, if there are adjustment or other charges to be added to the other charge to the X work price, that other charges should be properly indicated. Now, if the price agreed or the PAPP is FOB, again, the importer should declare the correct insurance and freight. Otherwise, pag nahuli ka ng customs, you can be, or the importer can be, sued or prosecuted for falsification or perjury. Maliwanag po? Maliwanag po. Naintindihan niyo, ulitin ko. Concealed, omitted, therefrom, concealed, whereby the government of the Philippines or the government of the Republic of the Philippines might be defrauded of any part of the duties and taxes lawfully due on the goods. So, sabi ko kanina, magkano yung insurance, Mr. Karandang? 300. O 200 ang insurance. O 300. Magkano yung actual insurance na itinago? 800. Tama ba? There is a difference of $500, right, Mr. Karandang? Okay. Kung nakalusot yung 300, nadaya mo ba ang gobyerno? Yes po. Ang tawag po doon is defrauded po ang gobyerno. Ang sabi mo sa PAPP, total PAPP, it's $20,000. Itinago mo yung 20. Ang ginawa mo, $15,000. Nadaya mo ba ang gobyerno? Yes po. In that case, the government of the Philippines or the Republic of the Philippines has been defrauded by concealment or by omission. Tinago mo eh. Ang sabi mo, ang freight is $300 or $400, but the actual freight that the importer has concealed or omitted is $800. Imagine, nakalusot. Then again, the government has been defrauded. Okay lang naman, Mr. Karandang, Miss Gutierrez, kung makalusot, right? Okay lang. Tama ba? Miss Gutierrez and Mr. Karandang, okay lang pag nakalusot. Tama? Okay lang. Tama ba? Okay lang. Tama. Miss Bulaon, okay lang pag nakalusot, right? Mr. Karandang, pag nakalusot, okay lang. Tama. Pag hindi nakalusot, yun ang hindi po okay. Yan po ang problema. So, moral lesson, do not conceal, do not omit, do not hide, tell the truth as to the following: PAPP, adjustment such as other charges, freight, and insurance. Okay, maliwanag po. Yan ang oral lesson. Kasi po, pagka dinaya mo sila, binaba mo lahat ito, PAPP, binaba mo, insurance, freight, binaba mo, other charges, binaba mo, natural, mababa po ang makukolekta ng Bureau of Customs on the goods imported. Right, Mr. Karandang? Tama po ba? Okay. Nagtanong sa akin, Miss Gutierrez, Miss Bulaon. Miss Bulaon! Sa ano, sir, ang idineklara ni importer is 800. Ang freight, 300 lang, dineklara 1,000. Tapos ang PAPP, 15,000 lang, dineklara 20, baligtad naman. Pwede bang kasuhan si importer? Ikaw, Mr. Karandang, kakasuhan mo? Hindi, teka muna. Tinatanong ko nga kanina, ibinaba niya. Tama ba? Ngayon, itinaas niya. Meron bang gagawang importer na ganon? Sira ulo yung importer na yon. Huwag mong kakasuhan, Miss Bulaon. Sira ulo yon. Tama ba, Miss Gutierrez? Kaya nga, ang tawag doon ay murit yung importer na yon. Tama? Tama, Mr. Karandang? Kung ako ang Bureau of Customs, ba't pa kita kakasuhan? Dinagdagan mo na nga yung babayaran mo sa gobyerno, kakasuhan pa kita. Murit ka na, kawawa ka pa. Tama? No, talaga naman. Sino naman importer na gagawa nun eh? 300 lang gagawin niya, 800 ba? Okay, ah. Walang gagawa nun. The tendency of the importer is to reduce it, not to increase it. Right, Mr. Karandang? Yes, yan po ang tendency on the part of the declarant, importer, or customs to lower it for purposes of lowering also what is to be paid to the government. But to increase it, murit siya. Murit siya, ne? Tama ba? Murit siya? Sira ulo itong importer na to. Murit siya. At saka, let's say, kung ikaw, Mr. Karandang, ang importer, at ako ang broker mo, sir, ba't itinaas mo? Wala, gusto ko lang. Tingin mo kaya sa susunod na kargamento mo, Mr. Karandang, i-assign mo pa sa akin? Hindi na, syempre, hanap ka na ng iba, right? Tandaan nyo yan. Be careful as customs broker, baka magkamali kayo, and that error might be costly on your part. Baka mawalan kayo ng kliyente. Pag hindi tumama, pag mababa at nahuli, pwedeng madisgrasya kayo ng Bureau of Customs. Pag sobrang taas naman, nagkamali ka at hindi ka nagtanong din sa importer mo, pwede ka na mamawalan ng client. Ang hirap po na ng trabaho ng broker. Yes po. So be careful. Letter B, Miss Bulaon. Okay. Okay, sandali muna. Sandali muna. Okay. Now, to the best of the knowledge of declaration, information, and belief, sa paniniwala po ni importer or customs broker, all the invoices. Do you have a copy of invoice now? Meron na ba kayong kopya, Mr. Karandang? Yes, meron po kayo niyan. Hindi ko lang po na ipadala yung copy ng bill of lading. Later on, pag nakakita ko, ipapadala ko sa inyo. To the best of the knowledge or to the best of the declarant's information and belief, okay, all the invoices and bills of lading or airway bills relating to the goods are the only one in existence relating to the importation in question. Okay, ganito po, no? Ito po yung invoice. Okay, look at the board. Nakikita niyo yung board? Meron kayong invoice dyan. May pangalan po yan, may mga nakasulat-sulat po dyan. May pangalan po kung sino po nagbenta, sino po bumili. Nandito po yung description, nandito po yung value, nandito po yung PAPP. Tama ba? Miss Bulaon, Mr. Garandang, yung sa invoice na hawak ninyo. Yes, it's contained there. Now, ang sabi dyan, to the best of declarant's information and belief, all the invoices and bill of lading or airway bills relating to the goods are the only one in existence. Okay, titignan nyo, no? Miss Bulaon, di ba minsan pumupunta ka sa department store, right? Okay, pag bumili ka, babayad ka, i-issuean ka ng ano? Yan pong resibo na yon sa atin po, that is invoice po. Okay? Maliwanag? Okay. Miss Gutierrez, bumili ka sa mall. Pag nagbayad ka, bibigyan ka ng kapirasong papel. Ang tawag po doon sa papel na yon, that is the receipt. Actually, that is a commercial invoice. Now, in international purchasing, hindi ka po bibigyan ng resibo ng seller abroad. Ang ibibigay po sa iyo is a copy of the commercial invoice. Kung ikaw naman nagkarga ka sa barko o aeroplano, bibigyan ka na, kung let's say, kung ikaw ang nagpadala sa abroad, isinakay mo sa barko, bibigyan ka ng kopya ng bill of lading. Kung sinakay mo sa aeroplano, bibigyan ka ng kopya ng airway bill. Ngayon, yung kopya na yon, kung sino po ang shipper abroad, ipapadala po dito sa Pilipinas, tatanggapin po siya ng consignee. Kasi po, yung bill of lading at airway bill will be used by the importer or consignee in applying for the delivery order either from the shipping line or airline company. O, ang sabi dyan, are the only one in existence. So, okay, normally, when the supplier or seller of goods abroad issues a commercial invoice, hindi lang po one copy. Maliwanag, meron pong second copy. Anong tawag sa second copy, Mr. Karandang? Duplicate po, duplicate. Yung pangatlong copy, triplicate po. Yung pangapat po, quadruplicate, quintuplicate. So, kung one copy, first copy is the original, yung pangalawang copy, duplicate or extra copy po. So, let's say, 5 copies po. Ang invoice number po is 001. Maliwanag po? Maliwanag? Ito po yung invoice number. CI number 001. Nakikita nyo, guys? Do you see what? Oh, yan. And this invoice number 001 consists of 5 copies. And according to the invoice, the PAPP, okay, is, let's say, $25,000. Yan po ang usapan ng bentahan ng buyer and seller. In other words, if the amount of $25,000 is indicated here as the PAPP, then that is the amount to be paid by the buyer to the seller and the amount to be collected by the seller from the buyer. Right, Mr. Karandang? Yan po. That's the cost, that's the PAPP, that's the value or invoice value of the goods. Now, paliliwanag ko to sa inyo para hindi nyo kayo masyadong mahirapan. Ang ginawa po ni Mr. Importer, yan ha? Ito po, sabi ni Importer, buyer to, di ba? Importer, no? Siya po ang importer, siya po ang buyer. Kinausap niya ngayon si seller. Nasaan si seller, Mr. Karandang? Abroad. Tama ba? Oh. What Mr. Buyer asked from the seller is to prepare a new set of invoice covering the same goods. So, nag-request si buyer kay seller. Mr. Seller, paki-prepare mo nga ako ng original invoice together with extra copies for the same goods that I have bought from you. And this time, do not indicate 25. Indicate only 10K. O, di ba? O, ngayon, Mr. Karandang, how many invoice are existing on the same goods in question? Isa lang ba o dalawa? Ulitin ko, ito po, yung original po nito, meron po siyang duplicate. Ang gagamitin po dyan, yung original po, para sa customs. Ngayon, si buyer po, nag-request from the seller. Mr. Seller, gawa ka ng panibagong invoice covering the same goods. So, nag-issue ng panibago na invoice. 001 pa rin. But this time, ang nakalagay na lang pong value is 10K. Tama, Mr. Karandang? O ngayon, natanggap mo yung dalawang invoice, ikaw ang importer, Mr. Karandang. Which one are you going to use and attach and submit to the BOC for the goods declaration? Is it the 25K or is it the 10,000? Kaya nga, dalawang invoice mo. One is for 25K. This is the true one. Ito po, lokohan po ito. Tama po ba? So, if you were the importer, Ms. Gutierrez, which invoice are you going to use now in declaring the PAPP in the goods declaration? Is it the 25K or 10K? Of course, 10K. Ano, Ms. Gutierrez? Oh, ano yun? Ano yun? Bad yun. Ms. Gutierrez, ano yung gusto mo sabihin? Yes po, yan po. Oh. Tanong ko, Mr. Karandang, how many invoices are now in existence for or existing for the same goods? That is the subject of the goods declaration. Dalawa, tama po ba? Now, if that would be the case, nahuli po ito, yung pala dapat, you are violating letter B. You can now be charged, or the importer can now be charged for falsification or perjury. Right, Mr. Karandang? So, ibig sabihin po niyan, you lied to the letter B that to the best of declarant's information and belief, all the invoices and the bill of ladings or are the only ones in existence relating to this importation. Nagsabi ka ba ng totoo? Hindi po. Kasi po, dalawa pa lang lumalabas na invoice. Then you are violating paragraph B. Right, Mr. Karandang? And naturally, if there are two invoices for the same importation, the importer would be using the smaller value. Right? Miss Bulaon? Yes. So, nahuli ngayon. May problema ka ba? Hindi nahuli, Mr. Karandang. May problema ka ba? Would you try this? Naka-record? Okay. Yes, Mr. Karandang, I'm asking you, would you try this? Ano sabi mo? Susubukan mo to? Hindi, tinatanong ko, I'm asking you, would you try this? Would you attempt on this? Of course not. Would you suggest to your importer to do this? Of course not. Of course not. Of course not. Intindihan nyo na? Oh. Now, class, do you get now the definition and explanation of paragraph B? Ibig sabihin po yan, pag sinabi mong isang invoice lang, although may duplicate copies, meaning there are no other invoice representing another value. Right, Mr. Karandang? Oh, when you say to the best of declarant's information and belief, all the invoices, bill of lading, airway bill po, relating to the goods are the only one in existence. Ibig sabihin yan, sir, meron pa pong additional copy. Yung bang additional copy, ang laman niya 25K, okay lang po yan. Natural. Kasi kung ano yung original, yung laman ng duplicate, yun din po ang laman. Right, Mr. Karandang? But this one, hindi po siya duplicate. Another invoice po, but containing a lower PAPP. It means that the importer is lying to the BOC. Of course, the purpose of lying is to defraud the government of the Philippines for duties and taxes due on the goods in question. Right? Naintindihan na po. Naintindihan na? Okay. Sa invoice po yan. Ngayon sa bill of lading naman, ang sabi mo, nakalagay po doon sa bill of lading, yung original po, it's 13,000 kilograms. Nagpagawa ka ng panibagong bill of lading and you made it 6,000 kilograms. O, again, meron pong dalawang bill of lading. Right, Mr. Karandang? Okay, in that case, the importer is not violating A, but violating B. Right, Mr. Karandang? Ayan. Naintindihan. Do I have to explain it again? Meron ba kayong question? Pero pagka yun gumawa ng panibagong invoice, 25K, nagpagawa ng panibagong invoice, ginawang 35K, anong tawag mo doon, Miss Gutierrez? Ang ginamit yung 35K, pero ang totoo, 25K. Anong tawag mo doon? Murit again, right? Murit again. Di ba? Walang gagawa nun. Ano yung tanga? Meron nga 25 lang talaga. Nagpagawa ka ng panibagong invoice na sa supplier mo, sa seller mo. Gawin mo 35, murit ka. Kasi yung ginamit mo, 35. Right? Just, guys, I'm just kidding on the murit word, ha? Baka mamaya, seryosohin ninyo. Sumbong nyo pa ako. Tama lang naman nag-meeting ko. Si Raulo to. Right? Next paragraph, please. O, ang tawag mo doon, murit. Pag ginamit mo 10K, anong tawag mo doon? Sir Karandang, pag 25, ginamit mo 35, murit. Pag ginamit mo 25, meron kang original na 25, pero ginamit mo 10 because there are two invoices, ang tawag mo doon, then, mandaraya ka. Tama? Parehas silang letter M. Yung isa, tinas mo, murit ka. Yung isa, binaba mo, mandaraya ka. Sino parurusahan? Yung mandaraya. Yung murit, pababayaan lang. Si Raulo na, parurusahan mo pa. Okay? Class, this is reality. Wala kayong makikitang ganyang faculty. Ako lang po yan. Okay? Wala po kayong makikitang ganyang faculty na nagle-lecture at inaalam ko kung ano yung kailangan ninyo. Next, Miss Bulaon, you. Ulitin ko, ha? Ito po. goods declaration requirement as to electronic submission is pursuant to a particular law. And that law that I am referring to is Republic Act 8792, otherwise known as the Electronic Commerce Act of 2000. Ibig sabihin po niyan, kaya po lahat ngayon, nakikita nyo lahat ng transaction natin na ngayon, Mr. Karandang, it's all what? Paperless, right, Mr. Karandang? Kasi because we are complying with the requirements of Republic Act 8792 or the e-commerce law. Maski sa ibang government offices po, sa iba, lalo po sa Bureau of Customs, most of the transaction now are all paperless. But some are still, meron pa rin pong paper. Assuming, ayan, itong ipinadala kong dokumento sa inyo, tatlo yan, tama ba, Mr. Karandang? Kayo ang Bureau of Customs, nagsinungaling ako dito sa mga dokumento na to. Okay, nagsinungaling ako either under paragraph A or paragraph B. Kinasuhan ninyo ko, what evidence are you going now to submit to prosecute me? Is it the electronic message that you are going to use to prosecute and to file a case against me, Mr. Karandang? Ang gagawin po ng BOC, maglalabas po ng printout, magre-reproduce niya itong kopyang ipinadala ko sa inyo. And that document, although only originated from electronic message under the E-Commerce Act, that is to be considered an original and genuine and true document for purposes of prosecuting the importer. Gagamitin yan. Hindi po yung nasa internet. Magpi-print out po. Yung print out to, although it's not original, but under the e-commerce law, it shall be considered as original, true, and genuine, and can be used by the BOC against the importer para kasuhan siya. And the court, once yung korte po natatanggap po nung electronic copies or printout po, they shall admit that document or reproduce document as evidence against the importer. So nakita ninyo yung epekto, ha? Akala ninyo, wala ka naman palang original. Meron po itong print out nung pinadala mo sa akin, Mr. Importer. Ito ang gagamitin ko sa iyo. And under Republic Act 8792, it shall be considered as genuine and correct. Okay? It shall be considered as original for purposes of prosecuting you. For what? Falsification or perjury. Did you get it, Mr. Karandang? Okay, very good. Ito mo, ha? Okay. Nabuksan nyo na ba yung dokumento ninyo sa Customs File, SAD? Nabuksan nyo na? Okay. Okay. Punta tayo, ha? Next section, please. O yan, ha? Nakita ninyo. The requirement of submitting the goods declaration information under paragraph A and paragraph B of Section 412 is by reason of a law, and the BOC is complying with the law. And that law is RA 8792, right? Tama po ba? Okay. Okay. Now, Mr. Anthony, dali lang, ha? Untay lang kailan dyan. Meron lang ako. Pwede bang mabuksan to? Hindi ko mabuksan to. Ito. Hindi ko mabuksan. Gusto ko makita. Ayan, nandun na. Ayun eh. Ayun na siya. Oo, yan na yun. Hindi ko mabuksan. Ano yan? Note? Ano ba yung tinatanong niya? Hindi ko alam eh. So, bubuksan niya na yan. Okay. Yan ba yun? Hindi ito eh. Dali lang. Dali lang. Dali lang. Pakisarado mo nga. Paano ba ito ko-close? Masyado kasi. Ko-close. Yun. Dali lang, ha? Sarado mo. Okay. Sandali lang, ha? Magantay lang kayo dyan. Kasing message, no? PSCA. Saan ba ko? Dali lang. Dali lang, antay lang kayo, ha? Ito. Buksan mo nga ito. Ito. Itong huling-huli. Huling-huli ba yan? Yung huling-huli na yan. Hindi rin. Mali. Sarado ko na lang. Okay. Dali lang. Anong oras ba? Alas 2 na? Dali lang, ha? Ay, nako. Antay lang kayo dyan. At gusto ko lang ma-appreciate ninyo. Disregard the custom-spied SAD. Mayroon akong ipapadala sa inyo, ha? Hindi po yan. Hindi po yan ang SAD. Iba po yan. Yung pinadala ko sa inyo. Ay, nako. Yan. Dito tayo. Ito nga, ano nga to, sir. Ito. Pakisilip ko nga lang. PDF file. O yan, dali. Pwede kong, ibalik mo ito. Close ko, no? Dito sa Facebook. O sige. Pa-forward ko ngayon, no? Okay, thank you. Okay, guys. Sige. Okay, guys. Let's continue. Guys, Mr. Karandang, you. I have sent another document to you. A copy of bill of lading and a copy of SAD po. Tingnan nyo po. Pakisilip po. Naka-PDF lang po siya. Pakibuksan po. Meron na po ba? Oh, meron na po ba? Meron na? Meron kayong kopya ng bill of lading, right? Nandiyan po yung bill of lading. Nakalagay po dyan sa caption. Tapos meron din po kayong kopya ng single administrative document. SAD po. Tama, Mr. Karandang? Oh, yung unang, no? Yes po, 1247 po. Yan po yung goods declaration or SAD. Tapos meron po nakalagay dyan bill of lading. At least, you have now an idea how or what looks like or how does a bill of lading, commercial invoice, packing list, and goods declaration look like. Right, Mr. Karandang? Okay. So, therefore, tingnan nyo po maigi, ha? Yung goods declaration po, compare it with section 411, 412 po. Okay? Maliwanag po. Maliwanag po. Dapat po makita ninyo yung file 1247, then compare 1247 against section 411 and 412. Did you get it? Miss Luna, naintindihan ba yung sinasabi ko sa'yo? Miss Gutierrez, naintindihan mo ba? Okay, good. Let's now move on to section 413. Description of the goods. Okay? Tingnan nyo maigi, ha? Okay. Mr. Karandang, nabuksan mo na ba yung file 1247 mo? Miss Gutierrez, nabuksan mo na ba yung file mo regarding file 1247? Sa bandang kanan po, may makikita kang customs pababa po. Tama po ba? Okay, makikita mo, tama? Okay. Nandito po sa box number 31. Nakikita mo yung box 31, Miss Gutierrez? Nakalagay po, 31. Packages and declaration of goods. Naintindihan mo? Sa bandang kaliwa po. Ano nakalagay? 1,108 cartons or number of package, CT carton. Tapos nakalagay po ang description ng goods. Ano ang description ng goods? Frozen beef, boneless trimming, yun po, karne po ang in-import. Tama, Miss Gutierrez? Yan po ang ilalagay doon. Under section 413 po. In other words, class, under such terms and condition prescribed under the rules and regulation, the description of the goods, that is box number 31, nandun po sa gitnang-gitna. Tama ba, Miss Gutierrez? Nakita nyo na? Miss Bulaon, nakita mo na? Miss Bulaon! Ikaw, Mr. Karandang, nabuksan mo na. Oh, nandun sa box 31, nandun sa may gitna, nakalagay doon kung ano yung in-import ng importer on this SAD or goods declaration. Tama, Ms. Gutierrez? Nakalagay po dyan. Saan po nanggaling yung information na yan? Doon po nanggaling yan sa commercial invoice. Kaya po, dinagdag ko yung commercial invoice sa inyo. So, pakibasa, Ms. Gutierrez. 413, please. Okay. Very good, very good. Sandali lang po. Box number 31. Pakisili po. Guys, wag nyo akong tignan. Tignan niyo yung pinagsasabi ko. The purpose now of declaring the contents of the items that has been imported is for the following purpose. Number 1, purpose, Ms. Gutierrez. Bakit kailangan mo i-describe under box 31? The purpose is for proper customs valuation po. Second purpose, for statistical purposes, and most importantly, for purposes of classification. For purposes of valuation, para malaman kung ano ang tamang dutiable value. Kasi po, naka-indicate po ang presyo niyan sa commercial invoice. Now, for purposes of classification, dapat po malaman kung ano yung item para po malaman din ang classification to find out also what is the applicable rate of duty. Tama, Ms. Gutierrez? Yes. Later on in the midterm, I will teach you and discuss to you how to fill up and accomplish a goods declaration po. Okay? Continue. So the purpose of describing sufficiently the goods imported is for purposes of three reasons. Number one, customs valuation. Number two, statistical purposes. And number three is tariff classification. Customs valuation to determine which is the correct value to be used by the BOC in determining or arriving at the value at the dutiable value. Number three, classification to determine what tariff heading the goods fall and what rate of duty is applicable. Kaya po, importante yung box number 31 and section 413. What is the purpose of correct customs valuation and correct tariff classification? Of course, for purposes of correct assessment and correct collection of the duties and taxes due on the imported goods. Yan po yun. Kaya po nakalagay dyan, the purpose of indicating the correct and exact description of the goods, value of the goods, is for purposes of proper assessment and collection of duties and taxes without sufficiently indicating or describing the goods description. There would be, or it can be, or there would be no way that the BOC can assess the correct duties and taxes pag wala po niyan. Tama, Ms. Gutierrez, Ms. Garandang, Ms. Bulaon, Ms. Magsino? Yes po, kaya po kailangan po yan. The quantity and value of the several classes of goods shall be separately declared. Ibig sabihin po niyan, pagka po ang isang goods declaration or what if the importation consists of different items, magkakahiwalay din po sila. If the importation consists of different items and subject to different rate of duty, then they shall be declared separately po. Ano ang gagawin mo doon? Pagka separate items, covered by separate rate of duty, anong ginagawa doon in computing the duties and taxes? What process do you use? Mr. Karandang, ang tanong ko po, what if the importation consists of different items, several items, it shall be declared on separate, or the value of each item shall be declared separately, right? And if the goods are subject of different rate of duty, what process are you going to use in computing the duties and taxes? Yes po, proration po ang gagamitin ninyo. Pag isang item lang po, hindi po kayo gagamit ng proration. Pero pagka separate items, covered or subject of different value and covered by different rate of duty, you will declare it separately. Ang tawag po doon, magpo-prorate po kayo. Klaro? Klaro po? Yes. Pag isang item lang po, okay lang. Kasi hindi kayo magpo-prorate. Single item lang. But if it is multiple items po, magpo-prorate po kayo. And that is required by 413. And each item shall be declared separately as to value, as to quantity, and as to description. Klaro, guys? Klaro, guys? Okay. Now, insofar as description of the goods is concerned, what the BOC wants is specific description, not general description. What is general description? It refers to a generic one. Generic one. Mr. De Guzman, nandiyan ka ba? Can you distinguish to me generic and specific thing? Teka muna. Mr. De Guzman, tinuro sa inyo sa obligation and contracts yan, right? Tinuro ba sa inyo? Naalala mo pa yung generic. Generic means it is not identified. It belongs to a class. While specific, it is identified among the class. Pag sinabi pong generic or general, okay, may 5 aso ka, wala silang mga pangalan, o yung isang aso ko sa'yo, binibenta ko. Wala pong pangalan na kung binanggit kung aling aso ang binibenta ko, that is generic description. Pag sinabi ko, ang pangalan ng aso na ibibenta ko sa'yo is Benji. 5 yung aso ko, yung isa John, yung isa Brian, yung isa Benison, yung isa Benedict. Ang ibinibenta ko sa iyo, Benji ang pangalan. So, specific na ba yun? Yes, specific po. Now, insofar as description of articles is concerned, please go to page 197 of your book. Pakitignan yung libro ninyo, guys. Okay. O, yan. Pag sinabi pong general description, nandiyan ba yung libro ninyo? Mr. Karandang, page 197. Yan, nakita mo, ayan po, itong mga ganito po ang kailangan. Pag sinabi pong general description, it pertains to a generic name or general name such as milk. Pag sinabi pong milk, anong milk? Is it powder milk, liquid milk, or skim milk? Is it engine? Diniklara po sa engine. What kind of engine? Engine of truck, engine of car, engine of motorboat. Yan po yan. Bag. What kind of bag? Pag ang sinabi mo po, bag lang, it will not be accepted by the BOC. Pag sinabi mong milk, it will not be also accepted by the bank, or by the BOC. Pag sinabi mong engine, it will not be also accepted by the BOC. Why? Because the BOC wants a specific description. Did you get it? Maliwanag po ba? What is specific? It pertains to a specific description of goods. Anong klaseng pump? Centrifugal. Anong klaseng engine? Is it gasoline engine or diesel engine? Yan po, specific na po yan. Pag sinabi mong diesel engine, specific na po siya. What kind of milk? Skim milk. Yan, specific na po siya. Shoulder or bag. Anong klaseng bag? Yan ba yung bag na hinihila, nilalagay sa likod, or yung pong sa shoulder po? Pag sinabi mo shoulder bag, then the description is now specific. Did you get it po? Maliwanag po. Under page 198, pakipuntahan nyo yung sa likod po para maintindihan ninyo po. Para po magka-idea tayo bago tayo maghiwa-hiwalay. Okay? Page 198, specific description for motor vehicles. Pagka po, when the item imported is about a motor vehicle or automobile, the following information from 1 to 11 shall be indicated in the box number 31. Doon sa description po. Guys, naintindihan nyo ba? Make, Nissan. Series, Infinity. Body type, wagon. Year model. Tama po ba? Kailangan po ba yung year model nakalagay, Mr. Karandang? Bakit po? Kailangan nakalagay yung year model po. Mr. Karandang, why? Year model is required. Mr. De Guzman, you. Mali. Miss Gutierrez, mali yung sagot nila. Why? Year model is required to be indicated. Miss Luna, you. Yes, depreciation po. If year model is required when the importer is asking for a depreciation. Pag wala po niyan, wala pong depreciation. It is to be considered as what? Brand new po. Maliwanag? Miss ko naman, kailan ko lang tinuro sa iyo? Dalawang semester pa lang ba yan? O yan, nandyan. Gross weight, net weight. O bakit kailangan may gross weight, net weight? For purposes of computing the warpage due and arrastre, right? Piston displacement, kung gaano kalaki ang makina, lahat po yan, inilalagay po yan doon sa 413 po. Maliwanag po ba? Maliwanag po. Maliwanag? Okay. So, now, class, under letter G, page 199, the following items from 1 to 120 are considered what? General description. Page 199, nakikita ba, Mr. Karandang? Lahat po sila are considered general description and the BOC will not admit such kind of description under section 413. Hindi po pwedeng ganyan. Kailangan po yung katulad ng description under 198 sa description ng kotse. Kung kotse po. Baliwanag? Nakalagay dito, furniture. Anong klaseng furniture? Di ba? Kung ikaw ba, Mr. Karandang, ang appraiser, nakalagay dito, furniture, anong ang klaseng furniture? Tama ba? Nakalagay doon, copy. Anong klaseng copy? Tama ba, Mr. Karandang? Magtatanong ka ba? Pagka sinabing, ang inimport ko po, Sir Karandang, is copy. Anong klaseng copy? Is it brood copy? Is it 3-in-1? It is kasi iba-iba po ang rate of duty ng copy. Pag furniture po, iba-iba rin po ang rate of duty kung ano po ang klase ng furniture. Right, Mr. Karandang? Opo, ganyan po yan. Pag sinabi pong spare parts ng ano. Tama ba, Mr. Karandang? Pag sinabi mong vegetable oil, anong klaseng vegetable oil? Kasi iba-iba po ang rate of duty insofar as vegetable oil is concerned. That's why, whenever the importer is declaring it, the importer must be specific. Otherwise, ano to? Manghuhula si appraiser kung ano ang rate of duty applicable. Did you get it? Okay, that's it. Plastic product, sinabi mo, anong klaseng plastic product ito? Packaging, anong klaseng packaging ito? Yan po yun. Now, Mr. Karandang, yes, what if the importer failed to specifically describe the item? Would there be an effect? Kung let's say, idineklara mo yung description in general, not in specific, would there be a penalty? Would there be a problem? Ano magiging problema? Miss, kulang yung information mo because the declaration is general, not specific, right? Okay. Miss Javier, Miss Gutierrez, punta ka sa page 201. Nandiyan ba yung libro mo, Miss Gutierrez? After 120, basahin mo yung letter H. Paki. Yeah. That's the effect, Mr. Karandang. Instead na 10% ka lang or random examination ka lang, since you declared it generally, not specifically, the effect is that your shipment shall be subject to 100% examination. Would you like that to happen to your shipment, Mr. Karandang? Of course not. Tapos, i-alert ka pa. Yan, nakalagay yun. Continuing alert. O yan po ang consequence for generally describing the goods. So what's the moral lesson, Mr. Karandang? Specific description po. You have to declare it specifically. When you declare it generally, the effect is that it will be subject to 100% examination and continuing alerts po. Kung ikaw ang importer, masasaktan ka ba doon sa 100% examination and continuing alert? Masasaktan ka. Parang criminal yung shipment mo, right? Tama ba, Mr. Karandang? Okay, very good. At least alam ninyo kung bakit. Maliwanag? Is it time already? Okay. I am not yet dismissing you, but I have to discuss to you some problem regarding schedule. May problema po sa schedule. I am assigned to you for custom 6 and tariff 5. Yay! Murit kasi si BBD. Murit kasi si BBD. Tariff 5 and custom 6. Answered prayer, answered by BBD po. Na, ganito po ang problema. Broadcast and sandali lang. Ito po yung problema, schedule na po. Huwag natin pag-usapan. Ako naka-assign. Sa akin nakabigay. Tariff 5 and custom 6, I have not scheduled for second year and first year. I will only handle third year. Tariff 5 and custom 6. Ang 3A po, sandali lang po, ano? At least ito po, alam nyo na kung sino mag-handle sa inyo. Tariff 5, 3A po, pakilista po dyan. Miss Gamotea, pakilista mo dyan. Lagi ka na lang nakaupo, kaya lumalapad dyan. BSCA 3A, Customs Tariff 5, Monday and Tuesday, 6 to 9, broadcast discussion schedule. 6 to 9 po, hindi po alas 6 po ng gabi hanggang alas 9 ng gabi. Monday, Tuesday, Tariff 5, BSCA 3A. At sandali lang, alam ko yan. Yung online consultation, pwede tayo doon. Wala tayong problema doon kasi walang conflict sa akin sa schedule ko sa Systems Plus. Okay? Ang 3A po, 6 to 9, Monday, Tuesday, broadcast discussion schedule. Conflict po ako ng Monday. Meron po akong klase doon. Yan po ang sasabihin ko sa inyo, kaya ko ini-extend kayo. Maliwanag? Ilista mo na dyan, Miss Gamotea. Yung online consultation, wala po tayong pag-uusapan. Kasi po, available po ako dyan. Pwede ko kayong i-meet kahit anong oras ng Friday. Kasi wala po akong klase sa Systems Plus. BSCA 3B, Tariff 5, Wednesday and Thursday, 6 to 9 p.m., broadcast and discussion schedule. Conflict din po ako. O, yan. Ang sabi ni Dr. Kalma, Gumawa daw kayo ng paraan na hindi magko-conflict ito sa ibang schedule. At ilagay nyo po siya sa umaga po. Hindi po ako pwede ng simula ng alas 4 hanggang alas 9. May klase po ako sa kabila. Naintindihan, Mr. Karandang? O, teka muna. Ano? Kaya nga, sabi ko nga, yung Monday, Tuesday, okay, Monday, Tuesday, may klase po ako doon ng alas 5 hanggang alas 9. Hindi ako pipwede. Pagdating ng Tuesday, may klase ako ng alas 4 hanggang alas 9. Hindi ako pipwede sa inyo. Kaya po, pwede lang po ako alas 8 hanggang alas 2 ang klase ko ng Monday, Tuesday. Pagdating ng Wednesday and Thursday, alas 8 hanggang alas 2 din lang ako pwede. Naintindihan? Guys, February 15 pa ang subject natin sa second SEM. Matatapos ko ito, i-record ko na yung lecture ko from February 15 hanggang March 4. Baka magpa-exam ako last week ng February. Klaro? So, kung Customs 5 po, pagdating po ng February 15, naka-record na po yung lecture. Pagdating po ng last week, magpapa-exam na ako para hindi po tamaan yung schedule natin ng para sa second SEM. Maniwala kayo, nag-a-adjust po ako para hindi po kayo maapektuhan. Ngayon, kayo naman po ang mag-adjust na yung broadcast and schedule ko, broadcast discussion lecture ko, ilagay nyo ng umaga, Monday to Thursday. Hindi talaga ako pwede ng hapon. Hanggang alas 2 lang ako pwede. Klaro? Klaro po. Wala akong naririnig ah. Okay? Guys, may nakikinig pa ba sa akin? Mr. Karandang, custom 6 po. Ang sabi ko sa inyo, tignan nyo na po. Meron na ba kayo schedule? Wala pa? Okay, meron na. Nasa portal na. Ganito po, no? Ang schedule po ng custom 6, hindi rin po ako pipwede ng hapon. Tandaan niyo, ang pinaka-maximum na pwede ako dito hanggang alas 3 lang ako. Monday to Thursday. Pag Friday po, buong araw po ako pwede. Pag Saturday po, buong araw ako pwede. Naintindihan, Miss Gamotea? Ulitin ko. Monday to Thursday, I am only available from 8 o'clock up to 3 o'clock. Maliwanag? Maliwanag po. Friday, I am available from 8 to 5. Kahit po gabi pwede ako kasi wala po kong klase sa iba, sa kabila. Maliwanag? Saturday po, pwede rin po ako hanggang alas 5 po. Nailista na, Mr. Karandang. Ulitin ko ha. Pakiulit mo yung schedule, ikaw nga magsalita. Napapagod na ako eh. Okay, good. Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Saturday, bigyan nyo ako ng same din po, para wala tayong problema. Kasi sagad na sagad ako ngayon. Ang tawag sa akin, Lagari King. Lagari ng 2 school. Tapos kausap ko, hindi man lang magpadala ng mineral water dito. Ano ba yan? Diyos ko. Samantalang doon sa kabila, nakahanda na yung mineral water, may pineapple juice pa, may carbonara pa. Kaya lang virtual lang, Mr. Karandang. Virtual. Nakikita, sir, ayan ito yung handa mo. Ano yan? Carbonara, pineapple juice with mineral water. Kaya lang virtual. Hindi mo makakain. Maliwanag na tayo. Pwede na ako umalis. Sir Garandang. Sige. Hanggang pagdating ng February 15 recorded na yan, magre-record na ako at saka medyo patapos na ako niyan. Baka last week ng February magpapa-exam na ako. Kaya hindi magpapatong. Okay? Klaro? Ano pa? Miss Gutierrez, Miss Magsino, Miss De Guzman, do you have any question regarding schedule? Kasi pag-usapan natin schedule kasi hindi na kami ako ang baligtad sa akin, yung mga part-time available sila sa gabi. Ako, full-time ako, available naman ako sa araw lang. Is there any question? Wala nang sumasagot. Wala na akong kausap. Okay, good. Yan, ayusin nyo na yan. Pero ito po yung schedule, ha? Wala na po akong magagawa dyan. Ngayon, wag nyong ipagsasabi na wala ako sa second year at first year. Magagalit yun. Ha? Natural. Gusto nila, ako yung mag-handle ng isang subject nila. Kasi dito sa kabila, second year, third year ang hawak ko. Sa inyo, third year lang. Actually, ayoko na nga sa inyo eh. Talagang ayoko kasi murit na ako, tapos murit din kayo. Para sa murit. Ayoko nang murit na nag-uusap. Ano? Ayoko nang, Diyos ko. Magmumuritan tayo. Mas murit ako sa inyo. Okay? You're dismissed and see you again next week po.